All right, so good day to each and every one of you. This will be our first ever lecture for the subject HRM 183 or Food and Beverage Labor Cost Control. So, since this is the first discussion that we're going to have for this subject, so mainly ang mga pag-uusapan natin ngayon is a little bit dun sa mga basic side or dun sa mga kailangan nyo malaman muna before we move forward. And a few computations as we go along the discussion. Kasi, ladies and gentlemen, here in this subject, we are really dealing with mathematics, first and foremost. Pero syempre ano lang naman, just a simple basic mathematics naman. Nothing too complicated tulad ng ginagawa natin during back then ng physics or sa ating mga trigonometry or whatsoever. Very simple, um, very basic formulas lang. Ang tatandaan nyo lang is yung ano yung mga kailangan dun sa mga formula na yun. Ano yung mga kailangan i-plot, ano yung mga figures na ilalagay mo to really get your results na gusto or yung para makuha mo talaga yung totoong resulta na makakatulong for your business. So, let us begin this discussion. To tell you honestly, no, labor ay food and beverage cost, food and beverage labor cost control or basta anything regarding cost is very important in every business. Even here in our industry, hospitality and tourism, it is very important kasi you cannot really measure profit or you cannot really measure yun nga, no? You cannot really measure profit or net sales without deducting first all of the cost that you have incurred or lahat ng mga gastos na ginawa mo. Hindi mo pwede sabihin na, okay, bumili ako ng simpleng laruan for 50 pesos, binenta ko yung laruan na yun for 75, kumita na ako ng 25. No, it's not as simple as that. Every kind of expense that you have did to acquire that particular item, it should be deducted as cost. Let's say, for example, bumiyahe ka, pupunta ng Divisoria. Gumastos ka ng, let's say, for example, gumastos ka ng 50 pesos para sa iyong pagbiyahe. Tapos gumastos ka rin ng pera for your let's say for example for your load para ikaw ay tuloy-tuloy ang communication sa Facebook na nag-online transactions ka for your business, and then gumastos ka rin para nagutom ka bigla along the way habang ikaw ay nagsha-shopping, nagutom ka bigla, nagbigay ka ng tip doon sa nagbebenta. Those are costs. Everything else. So, hindi mo pwede sabihin na porket nag-wholesale ka ng mga laruan na puro tig 50 pesos, ibebenta mo ng 25, 25 ang kikitain mo. No. It's not as simple as that. I wish it was simple as that, no? But no, it's not as simple as that. So, yun yung pag-uusapan natin dito sa subject na ito, sa food and beverage labor cost control. And this is one of the most important subjects that you will encounter in while studying. So I highly suggest that you take notes. I highly suggest that you listen. Kasi to tell you honestly, looking back on those things that I have studied during my college days, food and beverage labor cost control is one of the most important, one of the most relevant na up to this day, ina-apply sa lahat ng business. So, ito yung sure ako na maa-apply ninyo pag kayo ay magkakaroon na ng sarili-sarili ninyong business in the future or pag kayo ay graduate na. I am sure that you will always go back to this particular subject. So, yun pa lang, ngayon pa lang, I really highly suggest now that you study this subject thoroughly ng maayos talaga. Right. So let's begin. Sorry. As I've said, I hate numbers. This is one of the subjects that I really hate back then nung college ako. Pero I was able to pass and I was able to do well in food and beverage labor cost control. So, yan, let's begin. First things first, what we have to talk about or what we have to um, emphasize on is this. Profit equals sales minus cost. Ito talaga ang pinaka formula ng profit natin. And yun nga no, let's himay-himay natin to. Itong klaseng formula na to. Sales here is the amount of money you take in. Expenses are cost of the items required to operate the business, while profit is the amount of money that remain after all expenses have been paid. So sales, ito po yung pumasok na pera sa atin. Cost, ito yung lumabas na pera sa atin in order to operate. And then profit is yung kabuuan or yung bunga ng ating mga pinaghirapan. Bunga ng ating mga pagpapagod sa makabenta. So, yun lang naman talaga ang isa sa mga pinakakailangan yung isipin. No? Always yan, your profit is equals to sales minus cost. Now, when we talk about profit, we always have this idea na yung desired profit natin or yung gusto nating kitain, maybe for a specific week, maybe for a specific day, maybe for a specific month. Pero desired profit is the profit that an owner wants to achieve on a predicted amount of sales. An ideal expense the management view of the appropriate amount of expense necessary to generate a given quantity of sales. So, sir, ito po bang formula na ito, kailangan din po ba namin itong alalahanin? No, you don't have to take into too much in this formula. Pero this formula can be used pag kayo ay, let's say for example, pag kayo ay nag-analyze ng business ninyo kung how well you are doing. Later on, we will have an example of how this formula is applied para pwede nyo rin magamit sa mga business ninyo. Pero to tell you honestly, if this is really important, no. What's really important here is yung mga formulas na aaralin natin as we move forward regarding sales, regarding cost, and regarding profit. Yan. So since we all know the difference amongst profit, sales, and cost, we are very much aware of it, no? Ulitin na lang natin for the sake of the discussion. Sales, ito yung pumapasok na pera sa atin. Cost, yung nilalabas nating pera to operate. And profit is yung bunga ng ating mga paghihirap after deducting the cost from the sales. So ano nga ba yung mga different cost na sinasabi natin? Di ba nga sabi natin, it's not as simple as bumili ka ng 50 pesos na laruan, binenta mo ng 75, kumita ka ng 25 pesos. It's not as simple as that. There are many kinds of costs, and in this industry that we have, food and beverage, hospitality and tourism, we have these kinds of costs. First is food cost, associated with food, menu items. So, syempre, yan. Anything that is related to food, to producing the food, operating, lahat ng kailangan mo para makapag-produce ka ng pagkain, food cost yun. So, kasama dyan yung mga different kinds of foods natin, kasama dyan yung mga equipments, kasama dyan yung mga different needs mo na nakabilong siya sa food items. Next is beverage cost. So if food cost is anything related to food, beverage is anything related to producing that particular beverage. So maybe in some restaurants, it's as simple as soft drinks, Coca-Cola, Sprite, Royal, while in other restaurants, it's very much complicated with the use of fruits, with the use of alcoholic beverages, with the use of, kung kayo ay nasa isang bar, So meron kayong mga different kinds of alcoholic beverages, mga liquors natin. Meron tayong mga syrups na ginagamit, fruits, ice, and so on and so forth. Anything related to produce beverage, beverage cost siya. Labor cost, based on the term itself, if food cost is related to food, beverage cost is related to beverage, labor cost is related to the cost of all employees necessary to run the business, including taxes and benefits. So, dito nakalagay ngayon yung isa sa mga pinaka-importanting factor ng hospitality and tourism industry, which is labor. And labor cost is one of the most important parts of determining how much ang iyong gastos or how much ang iyong benta sa mga produkto na ibebenta mo. And other cost naman, ito dito nakalagay yung mga utilities natin, rent, yan, franchise fees. Dito rin pala nakalagay ang ating mga gamit such as chinawares, glasswares, kitchen knives, pots, and pans. So anything that is not related to food cost, beverage cost, or labor cost, let's say for example, renovation of a particular area in your restaurant, equipments, maintenance of equipments, repairs of equipments, utilities, mga nabasag na pinggan, mga nabasag na mga baso, cost din yon, and it's part here dito sa other cost of expenses natin. Now, dito, let us now proceed to the next part of the discussion. Balik tayo doon sa ating sinabi ko sa inyo na formula na ito, yan, sales minus desired profit minus ideal cost over expenses. So, sorry. Let's say for example that you have a restaurant with a sales of 50,000 pesos for a given week. Expenses for the same week is 30,000 pesos. So given this information, the profit is computed as, so ito yung ating formula dun sa simula, no? Sales minus cost equals profit. So sales mo is 50,000 pesos minus your 30,000 pesos cost. So 20,000 ang iyong sales. Now, balik tayo doon sa formula. If the restaurant planned for 35,000 of profit for the week, it would have been short. Ibig sabihin, kasi ang profit mo is 20,000 lang, pero ang desired profit mo is 35,000, short ka ngayon ng 15,000 according to this formula. So, ibig sabihin, hindi mo na meet yung desired profit mo na 35,000 for the week. Ano yung mga kailangan mo ngayong gawin? Or ano yung mga kailangan mong isipin para ma-meet mo next time yung 35,000 profit mo or yung profit mo for the week. So, yun yung mga pag-aaralan natin as we go along the discussion. This formula right over here, hindi na rin talaga siya kailangan isipin, no? Kasi ang ano lang naman dito, ang ginagawa lang naman dito is you are trying to get the percentage of the expenses, the percentage of the profit, and the percentage of the desired profit. So it's not really that important. Pero you can study this on your own. Pero in this module number 2, what I really like to focus on is this very, very, very basic profit equals sales minus cost, the differences of profit, sales, and cost, and the different kinds of costs that we have here, like food cost, beverage, labor, and other costs. So yun lang talaga ang pinaka-importante dito sa module number 2 natin. And as long as you understand these things, you are good to go. Now, let's move forward to module number 3, which is sales forecasting. Ngayon, we will get a little bit into mathematics na. Magkakaroon tayo ng mga computations na in this module. So, I suggest that you grab a copy or grab your copy of the module number 3 and try to make notes or take down notes as we go along the discussion. Now, sales forecasting. So we have said that the formula to generate profit is sales minus cost. So let's talk about one factor. Let's talk about sales. Nakalagay dito sa ating definition, sales are the peso amount of revenue collected during some predetermined time period, whether it is sales per hour, sales per shift, sales per week, month, or year. Ang pinagkaiba naman ngayon sa sales volume on the other hand is the number of units sold. And then a systematic recording of all the sales is referred to as sales history. Ulitin natin, ang pinagkaiba ng tatlong terms na ito. Sales is the predetermined amount ng revenue na na-collect mo during a specific amount of time, whether it is sales per hour, sales per shift, sales per week, sales per month or year. Sales volume naman is yung number of units sold or yung kung gaano kadami yung mga nabenta mo na items. And a systematic recording of all sales is referred to as sales history. So yun yung difference ng tatlo. Now, we're going to differentiate yet again two more definitions. We have here daily sales and sales to date. Daily sales is the revenue recorded per day. So ito yung sales natin per day. Dito nakalagay kasi dito sales per hour, shift, week lang. Daily sales is from the term itself, yung amount ng sales na nagawa mo during a specific day. And sales to date is a different term. Sales to date naman is the number generated by adding total sales to the sales of all prior days in the reporting period. Meaning, ito po yung kabuuan ng sales na nakuha mo in a specific reporting period. So let's say for example from week 1, week 2, week 3, total amount of sales accumulated during week 1, week 2, week 3 is referred to as sales to date. Yun yung parang pinaka-kabuuan ng sales mo in a specific amount of time. Now, we are going to determine average check or what we refer to in the industry as AC. Pag nakikita ninyo sa mga reports yung AC, it means it's average check. And average check po, ito yung average amount na ginagastos ng mga guest, per one guest. And how will you compute kung gaano kalaki yung ginagastos ng mga guest mo? It is by dividing total sales over the number of guests served. So if you divide this total sales, whether in a specific day, in a specific month or year, over the number of guests served, you will get average check or you will get AC, which is the amount or the average amount na ginagastos ng ating mga guest. So let's see. Ayan, ito, first table. Ako, sir, yan na, first table. Same. Ako rin. Ito na ang first table. Now, to make it more understandable, use the formula for the 2-day average sales per guest. So, ang sales natin, let's say for example, no, the sales that we have for Monday is 13,650 and the guest that you have served is 190 pesos. So, with that being said, let's try to compute 13,650 divided by 190. Tama ba ang lumabas? 71.84. So, ibig sabihin, dito nung Monday, nung January 1, ang average na nailabas ng mga guest natin per guest is 71.84 pesos. Next, sa Tuesday, ganun din. Let's try to compute ulit. 27,500 divided by 314 guests. Ayan, 87.58. So, ibig sabihin, noong January 2, ang average amount na pera na inilalabas ng mga guests natin is 87.58 per guest. So, yun yung, yun yung parang pinaka-computation ng average check. Alright, now, we have already computed for the average check. Now, dito sa table na nakalagay dito, the 2-day average is a little bit on the wrong side kasi hindi naman talaga siya yung I don't know if saan nakuha itong numbers ito. Pero since our formula to get the 2-day average is to add up day 1 sales plus day 2 sales over day 1 guest plus day 2 guest, you have to add this two up and you have to add these two up as well. So let's try to compute this. That is 13,650 plus 27,500. That will be 41,150. And then yung guest serve naman natin, day 1 is 190 plus 314. Guest for day 2, that is 504. Now, 41,150 divided by 504 equals 81.65. So, itong 81.65 po, ito talaga yung 2-day average check natin, o 2-day average sales per guest. Now, when an accurate sales history system has been established, variation in sales can be computed. Sales variance or the changes from previously experienced sales levels can indicate whether sales are improving, declining, or staying the same. Now, yun nga no, kung meron kayong accurate sales recording or accurate sales history, makikita mo yung variation or yung sales variance or what we call yung pagkakaiba-iba. The difference of sales from a specific amount of time. Let's say for example, here in this column, by month nakalagay yung sales. So the sales of January last year is 51,200. The sales of January this year is 54,000. So you have to get the variance, you just have to subtract the two. Sales this year minus sales last year. So sales this year is 54,000 minus 51,200. That will be 2,800. Malay din yung nakalagay dito. Pero that's it. 54,000 minus 51,200, that is 2,800. So ganun lang kadali. Alalahanin yung formula for sales variance. Tandaan nyo, average formula for AC or average check is sales divided by guests. Now, sa variance naman is sales this year minus sales last year. Para makuha mo yung variance, which is 2,800. The variance for the first quarter was just just add this up minus add everything here in sales this year minus the total amount of sales last year. That will be the variance for the first quarter, January, February, March. Huwag nyo lang isipin tong 700 na to. Di ko alam kung saan din nanggaling, saan lupalot nanggaling yan, 700 na yan. Pero what you have to do is just subtract sales this year minus sales last year equals variance. So yun yung pangalawang formula na kailangan nating alalahanin for today, for this discussion. Now, we will move forward. Now, if we have this variance, we have to know kung gaano kaganda yung naging performance. Siyempre, meron tayong figure dito. Alam lang natin is 2,800 ang tinaas ng sales ng January from last year to this year. Pero paano natin malalaman kung gaano kataas ito? Itong 2,800 na ito. Is it 5%? Is it 10%? Is it 20% of 20% increase? Yun yung pag-uusapan naman natin ngayon sa percentage variance. You have to compute the percentage kung gaano nga ba ito kataas or gaano nga ba ito kaganda. What we have to do to determine the percentage variance is itong formula na ito. Variance divided by sales last year. Through this formula, you will know what is the percentage variance or gaano ka ba kaganda yung itinaas ng ating sales. So let's say for example, same example naman ito, ang variance ng January natin is 2,800. So that is 2,800 minus, divided by sales last year, which is in this case is 51,200. So that is 28 divided by 51,200 equals 0.055 or 5.5%. Let's try to compute this one para makita ninyo yung difference. That is, the variance is 2,800 divided by the sales last year, which is 51,200. So, 0.055 talaga. Para makuha yung percentage, we will multiply this by 100 and we have 5.5%. Round up po dapat tayo, ha? Round up at least to the nearest hundreds, which is dito. Ito yung titingnan mo para malaman mo kung ano yung round up mo. But you guys already know that, no? How to round things up. So, how are we going to interpret the data computed? We can therefore interpret that the higher percentage variance means that the sales is progressing compared to the previous year. So, ibig sabihin, 5.5% ang itinaas ng sales natin from last year to this year. Same with February, 13.3% ang tinaas ng sales natin from last year to first year. Same with March, 6.4% ang tinaas ng sales natin from last year to this year. So overall, 8.4% ang itinaas ng sales during the first quarter total. So yun po ang pangatlong formula na kailangan nating alalahanin. Again, let's go back. First formula that we have to memorize is AC, or average check, which is total sales divided by number of guests served. Next is the variance o sales variance natin. That is sales this year minus sales last year equals variance. So you just have to subtract the two. Tandaan nyo, huwag kayong malilito, ha. Ang mauunang figure is yung this year. Sales this year po. Yung current. Yung nakalaan, sales last year, yun yung isusubtract mo. So sales this year minus sales last year equals variance. Next formula is the percentage variance, which is variance over sales last year. You just have to multiply by 100 to get the percentage. So since we're done with the variances and its percentage, let us now proceed with how we are supposed to predict sales or how we are supposed to forecast. Ito na yung sales forecasting. One of the one of the most important things when running a business. Sales forecasting. Let's proceed. Ito yung ginawa natin. Ito na yung ginawa natin na variance and percentage variance. Let's say, for example, Finma Pizza Parlor. So, yan na yung table na meron tayo. Meron na tayo dito, I guess, we have everything here. We have sales this year, we have sales last year, we have variance, we have percentage variance. So, paano natin ngayon kukunin yung magiging forecast natin for the next quarter? So, this was the fourth quarter of this year. Let's say, for example, ito yung siguro 2020. Let's say, for example, this is 2020, no? Fourth quarter of 2020. So, ito yung total sales this year, total sales last year, 2019, during the fourth quarter. And then yung variance niya, yung pinagkaiba ng sales. And then yung percentage variance natin ng total, which is 7.5. So, siguro para makita ninyo ng maayos, no, let's try to compute these tables. So, tingnan natin kung tama nga ba tong table na to. 7,500 plus 64,250 plus 57,500. I'm adding up the sales this year to see if this is really the total. So, 196,750, tama. Next, sales last year, that is 7,500 plus 60,000 plus 50,500. So, that's 183. So, tama rin. Yung variance niya, sorry. Variance naman niya, let's see kung tama, 75,000 minus 7,250. Variance for October, 25. Variance for November, minus 60,000. 4,250, tama rin. So, 57,500 minus 50,500, 7,000. So, add up. Tama rin yung variance natin. Uh, to get the percentage variance, alam nyo naman na yan kung paano, di ba? Variance over sales last year. So let's see. 25 divided by 7,500. That is 0.034 times 100. That is 3.4. So tama siya. Next, we have 4,250. Sorry. That is 4,250 divided by 60,000. We have this times 100. 7.1. So, tama rin siya. Lastly, let's see if tama siya. Variance over sales last year. 7,000 divided by 50,500. That is yan. Times 100. 13.9. So, tama naman siya. Lahat ay tama. So, we can see if really ang percentage variance ng fourth quarter is 7.5. 13,750 divided by 183,000. This is 0.075. Let's multiply by 100. So, tama. Alright. So, tama yung table natin. 7,500 yung percentage variance ng fourth quarter total natin for December 2020. Now, we are going to forecast the revenue. So, ititingnan natin yung magiging total revenue, possible revenue ng mga susunod na buwan after December 2020. So, we will now have a revenue forecast for the months of January, February, and March for 2021. So, we will now compute the revenue forecast. So, to get the revenue forecast, what you have to do, or yung formula na alalahanin ninyo, is sales last year plus yung sagot when you multiply sales last year times the percentage variance that we have, or the increase estimate. So in this case, in January, ang sales last year is 68,500. Ang increase is 7.5 according to our percentage variance last fourth quarter for the last year. Now, for the first quarter naman, since gagamitin natin yung percentage variance na yun to forecast revenue, so this is 7.5. So you have to multiply 7.5 here, sales last year, to get the increase amount. So, tingnan natin. Tatandaan nyo rin pala, this figure is in percentage. This is 7.5%. If you want to use 7.5% for your computation, dapat ang kukunin mo is yung raw amount niya, or yung 0.075 before multiplying by 100, before getting the percentage mismo. Yung raw amount niya, yung kailangan mong gamitin to multiply or to use in the computation. So in this case, 7.5 ang kanyang raw before computation is 0.75 according to this. So ang gagamitin natin is this will be 68,500 sales last year times the raw amount of the percentage variance, which is 0.075. When you multiply that, you will have 5,137.50. So this means, ito po, yung increase amount. Ito yung pwede nating makita na increase dun sa sales natin sa darating na first quarter. If you will add this increase amount to the sales last year, the plus 68,500, 73,637.5, which is tama dito. So, yun po ang pag-compute ng revenue or revenue forecasting. We have to first get variance. We have to first get the percentage variance. And if we will have a percentage variance for the fourth quarter, in this example, fourth quarter, 7.5 ang total percentage variance, you can use this as the reference for your revenue forecasting. Pwede mo itong gamitin as isipin mo na, okay, so ibig sabihin, 7.5% ang posibleng itaas ng sales ko sa susunod na quarter, sa susunod na buwan. So, yun yung igagamitin mo as figure here for computing your revenue forecast. So again, 7.5% po yung percentage variance natin. Ito yung gagamitin mong figure to do your revenue forecasting, which is this one. However, forecasting can also be done through predicting guest counts. So, hindi lang pala sales ang iyong ginagamitan ng forecasting. You are also forecasting guest. And when you forecast guest, same thing lang din po with sales. Same lang lahat ng formula. Ayan. Same lang din lahat ng kailangan mong gawin. First, you have to guess variance. And then you have to get the percentage variance. Same lang din po ang formula niyan. Let's confirm is if same nga lang ba talaga, no? When we compute for the variance, di ba ang sabi natin, that is sales this year minus sales last year. So, tingnan natin if same formula siya, no, with this. 14,200 minus 13,700. 500. So, 500 yung variance mo. And ang formula natin to get the percentage variance is variance divided by guest last year or sales last year. So, let's see. 500 divided by 13,700, which is yung guest last year. That is 0.036. Let's try to multiply by 100 to get the percentage. That is 3.6. So, tama siya. So, same lang din yung formula na gagamitin mo to get the variance, to get the percentage variance. Same lang din, ibig sabihin ang gagawin mo or ang gagamitin mong formula when forecasting the guest. So, nakuha natin na ang percentage variance niya is 6.1. Ito yung gagamitin nating figure to forecast the increase for the next few months to follow. So, ang gagawin natin is we have to multiply this guest last year to the raw amount of 6.1. Tignan natin kung same formula lang din ang kailangan gawin. So, that is 12,620 multiplied by the raw amount of 6.1. So, that is 0.061. We will have 769.82 or rounded up, that is 770. Kasi, di ba, ladies and gentlemen, we cannot have a 9.82 or a decimal value for guest. Hindi naman tayo nagsiserve ng isa't kalahating guest or isa at 1/4 na guest, di ba? So, dapat we round these things up. So, this is 770. And then we just add in 770 to the guest last year, which is 12,620. Ayan, 13,390. So, with the use of the percentage variance from the fourth quarter as reference, we can see na, okay, siguro sa mga susunod na buwan, specifically for January, ang ating guess ay 13,390. Same thing or same formula will be used for February and March and for the first quarter total. So, yun po ang mga formula na kailangan ninyong alamin for sales forecasting. Now, with that being said, ngayon na meron ka ng meron ka ng revenue forecast at meron ka na nga din ngayon na guest count forecast, ibig sabihin, pwede ka na rin mag-forecast ngayon ng average check mo. Kasi nga, di ba, ang kailangan lang naman natin to compute average check is sales over guest or total number of guests. So, if we have a forecast or meron na tayong hula kung magkano ang revenue natin for the next few months at meron na rin tayong hula kung magkano ang or kung ilan ang guests natin for the next few months, we can now compute for the average sales per guest forecast, which is sales divided by guest count forecast. So, let's see kung tama nga ba yung table na ito. We have here 73,000. Let's compute for January first. We have 73,637.5 divided by 13,390. So, 550. Tama siya. So, tama ang nakalagay sa ating table. So, it means that ito yung pwede ninyong gawin in the future, no? alam nyo naman ng ibig sabihin ng average check natin. You guys also know the meaning of variance, percentage variance, revenue, and forecast. So with that being said, I hope we can end this discussion already, and I hope that you have learned something here in this discussion. And lagi nyo tatandaan, if hindi naman kayo or if medyo confusing pa siya, you can always review or go back to the discussions, or you can always ask me for questions or clarifications. So that's it for our first topic for food and beverage labor cost control. Stay safe always, and God bless you. Bye, guys.